Welcome back. The majority of the Vortex members are getting over Billy's death and resuming their lives. On All-American Season 5 Episode 16, Spencer and Jordan had to go back to playing football. Yes, they are the two key members of the GAO team. That still doesn't mean recruiting is under their scope, Coach Kenny pointed out. However, Spencer's plan, which was based on Billy's old South Crenshaw playbook, had value despite Kenny's initial disapproval. All-American Season 5 Episode 7, Tough New Role. Kenny was aware of the lack of depth in his team. He had tryouts in the first place for this reason, only inviting recent high school grads that other universities could have missed. He was thinking too little. Spencer had a wider vision and reached out to athletes who had stopped competing a few years prior, but who, in theory, still had more to prove. Only he and Jordan hadn't thought of every possibility. Such athletes would be far from guaranteed a spot on a D1 squad and would likely be more than a little rusty. Jordan and Spencer would appear to be GAO program reps. Kenny made the observation that they would probably raise the players' expectations for nothing. All-American Season 5 Episode 9 Secret Slips. However, the two housemates were committed to doing everything in their power to keep GAO alive. What would it hurt to follow through with meetings they had previously scheduled with a few players, especially if they had made no promises to their recruits? It appeared that either Spencer's research or their methodology lacked a little. The reason they had scheduled meetings with them was unknown to both of their recruits. Mountain Guy lineman Jordan's request for the quarterback Kai was fulfilled. Kai was the only one who suspected Jordan was trying to get his younger brother, a talented athlete, headed to a stronger program than GAO. Kai too had a terrible past with GAO. When Garrett learned that Kai was going to become a single parent, he withdrew the scholarship offer he had made to Kai. Kai had been working 60 hours a week at a supermarket shop, just scraping by. Sal, Spencer's new recruit, served time in prison for committing a desperate crime while his family was living on the streets. He was now employed as a personal trainer. That Spencer won a training session made him feel honored. Kai and Sal also attended the invitation-only tryouts, which Spencer later revealed to Kenny. After some rocky beginnings, however, they managed to hold their own against Kenny's hand-picked recruits to the point where Kenny subsequently requested Spencer's list. How absurd was it that both of them were given full scholarships? GAO is not a very desirable location because it is still awaiting the NCAA sanctions, hence the tryouts for walk-ons. Therefore, in such a scenario, Cinderella stories are more likely. Nevertheless, Spencer and Jordan must limit their freelance work or they will go in Kenny's slammer whether they are stars or not. All-American Season 5 Episode 4 Helping Coop. Everyone in the Baker sorority house was dealing with anxiety. Patience hasn't enjoyed having her every action documented on social media. It hasn't helped that I have a personal stalker. Layla struggled with her identity. For her label, Clay kindly gave her the name Keating Records. She was no longer certain it was what she wanted, though. Then there's Coop, who has been so preoccupied with trying to launch her law career that she neglected to remind Sky about her important presentation on Patience's social media presence. Sky has been neglected by Coop, therefore she made a promise to attend the presentation that her schedule couldn't support. Although Coop is a beautiful person, she has a poor habit of putting her demands before those of her girlfriend. When a student fell out of the law class that Coop had been auditing, the lecturer added her to the class. The only catch was that she needed to be in a study group when Sky gave her presentation. Then her extremely white professor advised her to avoid using racial slurs when speaking to her fellow legal students. Trying to speak in good English made Coop sound as like he might rupture an organ. Additionally, her group appreciated it when she used more everyday language to discuss a scenario. Coop returned home feeling good, only to have Sky break up with her when Coop handled her non-apology to Sky terribly. After interrupting a quinceañera, the other three experienced awakenings. Patience chose to stay and sing during the father-daughter dance after the guest of honor, Valerie, a Patience fangirl, recognized her. She was able to recall why she enjoyed performing thanks to that. Layla was inspired to choose a compound name for her label in remembrance of her parents by Valerie's hyphenated last name. Being the final task she completed with Billy, Olivia made the decision to take credit for writing her piece. It's not like it would any longer have an impact on Jordan and Spencer's place on the squad. After a protracted period of time, JJ finally failed. He made the decision to give up everything, especially being the light of the party, after his friend's negative drug reaction so that he could get his life in order. How do you feel with Spencer's recruitment plan? Are the other women, besides Coop, finally heading in the right direction? Should Coop attempt to woo Sky back? Please leave a comment below.